Good evening, guys. Welcome to another episode of KB Lifestyle Pod. I want to thank you for subscribing, for sharing, for engaging our videos, for supporting us in every way you can. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Today is another wonderful day again. I have three wonderful guests with me. Very soon we will hear from them, but three of them have tried to, I've decided to honor me today to come on podcast. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So Bukola, you can introduce yourself from there,
Hi everyone, my name is Bukola Okwade and I currently work in Medical Human Resources with the National Health Service in the UK.
Thank you.
Okay, my name is Akinwumi Kenya Konwojo. I like to introduce myself that way. I work in the not-for-profit sector and I currently work as an impact manager with a charity here in the UK that focuses on supporting businesses. And
Thank you. We were.
My name is Olumiwa Akinwumi. I work as a chartered accountant with a big five firm here and auditor in the UK.
Thank you so much, each and every one of you, for coming today. So I want to quickly take a look at the topic, evolution of dreams. I'm sure each and every one of us have looked back at our younger self and wondered why did I ever want that? Maybe as a kid you dreamt of. I'm sure many of us dreamt of becoming astronauts. I know that I wanted to become an astronaut at some point in my life. That time you promised God to be astronaut, engineer, aeronautic engineer. But thank God for growth and life. But now, your ambitions look completely different. And not just that. That's a sign of growth, actually. I can remember when I was younger, I think I wanted to do engineering. But the thing about that was, like, when I went to secondary school, I was not too fluent in mathematics, and it was kind of challenging. So we used to do this thing that I think in my secondary school we had this pre-resumption that they do for GS3 transitioning to SS class. So to be able to determine whether you go to science class, the arts, or the commercial. I think when I now went to, everybody went to science class now. Yes, everybody's trying to feel. But when they gave me the chemistry table, they call it Ababu that time.
Ababu.
Oh my God! When they gave me the Ababu, at the end of the extension ceremony, I just thought that this is not for me. Even though I passed, I just said I can't accept it for the rest of my life. Let's just so I just said no problem. Let me go to the arts class. And it was funny when I went to the art class. I started doing some subject combination that was kind of funny. I was doing food and nutrition. I was doing some things like that. So when my first time result came out, I went to Well, I think one day my dad was sad. I just saw the quote and said, why are you doing food and nutrition? What are you doing? So he said, why don't you do, just do accounting? And funny enough, when we in school that time, I think they gave me the liberty to be able to try that subject for that term while in art class. So each time they were having the accounting class, like it was a free period for me in my class. So the way they do the timetable was so I'll be able to take my chair to the commercial class to be able to take the subject. And that first time I had an A in the eye and said, oh, I really like this. So, and from there developed then, long story short, I went to university to study accounting, became an accountant. Where we are today, that different profession in the UK. So, everybody has that story, but you just realize that your passion lays somewhere else as you grow. You realize that at first you struggle with the guilt of giving up on that dream, but eventually you understand that yes, you're not quitting, you're just evolving. Especially in Nigeria, I think the admission process for universities tries to make sure that yes, they address your strengths. So if that's what you want to do medicine, it's very, 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 very competitive. I mean, so the cutoff mark can be different from, those that wanted to do accounting. I remember that when I wanted to do accounting, I could do accounting, I could do law, but law was just too. I would like it to be quoting all these, citing all these citations and stuff. And for God's sake, the exact mark I got for my examination was the cutoff mark for accounting. So that was a blessing for me in this guy. So that was like the confirmation that yes, this is what I wanted to do. So the first question I wanted to just ask, randomly is why do dreams change? Why do you think? And I want to start with Kenny.
Why do dreams change? I think that, thinking about it now, I think that dreams change because human beings ourselves evolve as humans. That's the honest truth. Because the version of me 5 years ago is not the version of me now. Let alone the version of me 10 years ago or the version of me 15 years ago. So whatever it is that was my dream then was shaped by the things I could see, was shaped by the environment that I was in, was shaped by the kind of parenting that I had. But you realize that the more you go on in life, the more exposed you are, the more information that you are exposed to, the more environment you're exposed to, and it begins to change your perspective. It begins to change how you see things. So you realize that, for example, I teach young people and I tell them that one of the reasons why I tell young people to wait till later before you choose a spouse is that by the time you choose a spouse at 15, there's so much that you want as a 15-year-old boy. Do you understand? And you will choose somebody as a 15-year-old boy. But the moment you are in your 20s, do you understand? You have more options. You have more perspective, and so there is the tendency for you to make a better choice at that time. So really, in summary, dreams would change because as human beings you are evolving, and even you don't know yourself. I don't know myself. I don't know the 2026 version of me, because the job I do right now, I love it, but who knows, they might offer me one job tomorrow that changes my destiny.
Sure.
I'm of the opinion that our exposure to new opportunities, is what reshapes and excites us. Like, you started out wanting some things, but after, traveling, meeting new people, inspirations and, perspective change, you understand? Yeah. Priorities also shift, some might have some family responsibilities, financial, these things are, how will I put it, limitating factors that can affect our plans, definitely. But even as much as we have unexpected life events or even societal expectations that can play a huge role in reshaping our aspirations, the question I still have in my mind is, why do we have to consider all these things in able to box ourselves in that imagination that yes, okay, I wanted to become an accountant, but maybe I lost my dad or something's happened and nobody can sponsor me to school, and I have to also as a firstborn and take care of my younger ones. So everything has changed already. Priorities have changed now. It's not just about you anymore. It's about bringing everybody along so that nobody feels lost and nobody feels left behind. So what do you do in such situations? How do you still come out on top of that situation? Bukola, you can just help us a bit.
I think that one of the things you can do in that kind of situation is to have focus. So like you said, different things happen, perspective change, people evolve, interest also changes, and sometimes one of the things that ties people down is the fear of failure. Like, oh, I didn't do well at this, will I do well at the other thing? And another thing is, invested time. So for backstory, When I was younger, when I was in secondary school, that's high school, I was very good at the science courses, mathematics, chemistry, geography, physics, economics. Those were my
Mm.
top courses, and because of that, I wanted to pivot into medicine, and I tried. Like I traveled to another country, tried to get into medicine, stayed there for 1 year, came back to Nigeria, and then started again trying to get into medicine in the university in Nigeria. And eventually, I didn't even get medicine, I got chemistry. And getting into chemistry after the second year, I knew that okay, I loved chemistry, but I didn't want to do it long term. Another thing that I had interest was like human. So I was like, okay, maybe I should do something social science related and everything. But it took me time. I didn't get until year 3 before I changed back to economics, which I eventually graduated with, because I had the fear of all the time I've invested, all the awards I've won in chemistry in secondary school. So what would happen? So sometimes, the fear to let go limits us. And the moment we understand that direction changes does not mean failure, it means growth. I think changing the perspective in our mind will help us, move forward and also progress, because the fact that you did not succeed in this doesn't mean you won't succeed in another thing. And sometimes you might have to dabble your hand into a different thing, like different things rather, to get that one thing that you now find interesting. Before I settled for human resources, which I really love, I tried a lot of things. I was waking up Saturday morning, going to Unilag to learn Python. I did a couple of things before I realized that okay, this is where. And from the get go, I've always loved like human resources. I've always even said it back in university, but because I was like, oh, what if I try it and it doesn't work out? Let me just try other things. And when things are trending, you just want to jump on it. So a lot of my friends were going to tech. So I was like, okay, what? Let me try tech. Going, trying to learn Python, wake up and go to some tech hubs in Unilag. I kept doing that, but the interest still wasn't there. So, but the moment I went back into focus and I realized that, what? That you want to leave this and go into something else is just growth. It doesn't mean that your time is wasted. So that's how I'm able to deal with it. Having the mindset of growth instead of failure.
Mm.
Yeah.
You said something about fear of letting go, and that was our next segment actually. The fear of letting go. That's actually our next segment, because how do I characterize this now? Like I think most of us at that initial stage of our lives, I think peer pressure is actually a factor that actually cuts in deep into what we want to achieve as as individuals. I think I'll be sorry. I'll be right to say that, because I remember when I finished secondary school and the choice of university came up, and I schooled in Abeokuta in Ogun State, Nigeria, for 6 years, and I was so relaxed in my comfort zone. I didn't want to go back to Lagos, Nigeria. I just wanted to stay in Abeokuta. So the choice of school for me was FUNAB, which is Federal University of Agriculture, Abeokuta, and for God so good, that was the second year they started doing social science courses, and for me it was, let me just choose any course, and I chose entrepreneurship or entrepreneurial studies or one thing like that, and I'm happy now. Looking back now, then when I couldn't make the cutoff mark, and it's kind of sad, because I wasn't going, and I was crying, and I didn't know that yes, there was another plan of God for my life. And in my wildest dreams, University of Lagos was not even part of my agenda. And God just did it the next year. I got into University of Lagos accounting, and it was just God. So the fear of letting go, I understand that it is hard to accept that our dreams have changed. It is so hard. A lot of things come down to fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of wasting time. Society often tells us that persistence equals success. So yeah, you feel guilty about when you want to be free. But that's why, when you say you're studying chemistry, you're applying for medicine.
For
I,
being
I I
part-time.
get it. We feel guilty when we have to pivot because we know that yes, you are good at this thing. So why is it working out at this particular time? But what most of the young ones coming out nowadays, or people that have gone through, you understand is that I think we as human beings have our own plans. I'll
Yeah,
just put it simple as that. But the God factor of everything, I don't want to preach, but the God factor of everything supersedes everything else. You can have your own plan, work out everything, but God's will will always prevail. So here's the truth.
Absolutely.
Changing direction is not failure. First is fair. It's a form of wisdom. It means that yes, you are self-aware. And I like it when you said that yes, you finish with economics. That means you are self-aware enough to recognize that when something no longer aligns with you or your values or your aspirations, instead of just seeing it as quitting, you think of it as course correcting,
yeah.
looking forward to something that fulfills you more deeply. So when you said you studied economics, yeah, that was something that, yeah. So when I wanted to come and do my masters in the UK, I didn't want to do accounting again because it just felt boring to me. So I just said, okay, what can I do? And since I wanted to go into business, since I wanted to have my own business someday, why can't I just go study business and have a degree, in business analytics, business management, and stuff like that. So I get it. So I like when you said the fear of letting go, and that's our next segment actually. So who you are, I have to come to you now.
Yeah.
I wanted to just know what your opinion is about society placing too much pressure on people, to stick to one career path. Like why or why not? Why do you think society places too much pressure on people? Did you have that kind of pressure growing up?
So for me, thanks, Eric, for this opportunity. For me,
Yeah,
yes, I really didn't have pressure because my dad was liberal. His own point was give you the opportunity to have good education,
yeah,
and then you have the liberty to choose whatever you want. So if I take it back to high school days where I was the best student in integrated science for GS1, GS2, and also top in business studies. When I got to GS3, I felt I was going to be a science student. When I got to GS3, they started this balancing equation, something like that. That was when that way it was ministered to me that this is not your.
yeah,
I thought it was just to ensure that the left and the right are equal, and then I was doing mathematics. I wasn't doing. I was just and then the teacher called me and said that is there something technically wrong, that is there anything at home that she's that she was pushing me forward for, like, oh, this guy is going to be top science student, and I messed is this second time or something exam up and all that. So I was just like, I'm good in business studies as well, so I can as well just that's when I realized, and the minister to me, that business studies was good because I was so very good at it,
yeah,
typing, all those things.
yeah,
And that was when I knew. But if I was good at that, that was the only topic, and that's quite a big thing in integrated science in GS3 or so, that level. I just realized that, okay, business studies is the way. And that was when I knew that I was going to be a commercial student, and I knew that I was going to be an accountant. So by the time I got into classes, I saw that was my strength. So there was no phobia of, oh, you're not a science student, boy, or you're not. There was just this feeling
yeah.
of anywhere I find
All
myself.
the science that time I think they were a bit
Yeah, so
oppressive.
it wasn't really like that
Yeah,
in my school. It was just it's just the mentality. So I understand sense of self worth. Like anywhere I find myself, I am good.
yeah,
I'm the best. So God helped me to understand that earlier. My parents imbibed that in me earlier. So there was nothing like, oh, my other brother was an art student. He wasn't really good in math, but literature and all that was. So imagine that was next time science class, you are here, nothing like that. It was, oh, this is where you are. It's all good. All through finishing school, getting to university, I knew that it was accounting. I think I was going to be an accountant, an international one. So it was just there all along. It's just, I was lucky to not have that pressure.
mm,
And even when you meet with friends or that peer pressure thing, didn't really have anything on me small. There was a case of I am good in my own right here, where and that was very good because I know what the pressure did to some other people
Yeah.
who were in a place where you know that this is not where you're supposed to be. It was obvious this guy is good in arts related stuff, but he's in science, and then it now looks like you are not smart, but you are, but you now, after like 1 year or 2 years, you now start pivoting back to art, and it look like, oh, what have I been doing in the first instance? So I know what he can do, and it's a lot, but you need to just have a strong sense of self-worth to actually know that wherever you find yourself in, just be good at, that's where you're supposed to be. Don't get pressured to get to a place where you are not, you're not supposed to be in the real sense. So yeah, so I'll say I was lucky to not have that, pressure all through,
Okay, so which one of you here had aspirations?
If
Because
if it's okay, yeah,
follow up.
I have a completely different experience.
Okay, Kenny,
From
I wanted to ask
where
a
you
follow
are.
up for those that have
Yeah,
aspirations.
yeah, I have a completely different
I did have
experience.
the pressure though.
Yeah,
I did have
Me
the
too, I
pressure.
have pressure because
yes. So
meanwhile I did it smooth. So I
had
wanted
it
to ask a
smooth.
follow-up question.
To be
But
honest,
since you did have pressure, meanwhile, just hold on.
so
Kenny,
my
you had the pressure.
yes, well,
Okay,
kinda. Let me say kinda. To be honest, my dad wanted to study medicine, but he ended up studying psychology up to, and then he lectured it. He was good at it.
wow.
So he attended with the firstborn to study medicine. It didn't work. He didn't attend with the secondborn. I think that one just showed you way. It's not my way. He attended with the thirdborn, and that one too went through science class. She failed, and then she had to go back to SST and start again. But for myself and my twin brother, he didn't attempt to make us medical doctors, but he was excited at the fact that we wanted to be science students. So
Wait,
I think,
just hold on. I wanted to ask a question. Yourself and your twin brothers, were you the firstborn?
no, we are the last.
That's why. Because the first ones are always experiences. You
Yes.
understand? Because
Yes.
I think there's always like a bit of how will I put it, easiness to allow them to
To be honest,
freestyle and
I think
stick
that
out what they want to do for themselves. But you see, some people in the family, the firstborn, you are not doing engineering, doctor.
my first was studied
Forget it.
she studied
You have no
philosophy.
choice.
She studied philosophy all the way from medicine.
But you actually said your dad tried to pressure your
He tried to
firstborn
pressure the
to study
firstborn
this.
into
Yeah,
studying medicine. It didn't
it's like
work.
that.
He didn't try to
most
the second
everywhere.
one because that one already showed that she was not going
I
to,
mean,
that she didn't have the capacity at all. And then he tried
Yeah.
with the third one, and that one tried and tried and tried, failed WAEC woefully, and then she had to go back to SS3 second term, and she had better results than people who have been doing art class from SS1.
Wow.
But to now my own story. So by the time I was in, I think GS1 or GS2 or so, I had gone to an optician, and then he liked myself and my twin brother, so he told us to come and be playing with his computers. So I just liked the excitement of computers, and I said I'm going to study computer engineering, and that was how I said I was going to come to computer engineering. And literally everywhere I tell you I'm going to study computer engineering, I got into pre-degree at FUNAB and had an amazing result. But by the time they're going to release the admission list, they gave me aquaculture and fishery management, and I won't lie to you that I was ready to go for it because I don't know if you had the experience, but pre-degree in FUNAB is hellish.
Yes.
Just so the fact that you passed, you can do well anywhere in life. So I just told my father that
they gave you what?
aquaculture and fisheries management.
In Fun?
So I told my father
would have been a fisherman.
you mean you want me to waste all that 1 year? It was rigor. But he was like, never. It's not my money that you will use to go and do aquaculture and fisheries management. And just like you, 2 weeks later, I found myself in University of Lagos, computer engineering.
Oh, you really?
Yes, I got into University of Unilag, yes.
Wow.
Computer engineering. And I graduated in computer engineering. I finished, did my master's in information technology, and I was working in the bank. And lo and behold, I was working in the IT department of a bank, and I think that was where things went
Deep.
down. Really,
Yeah.
I'd resumed in a unit where I did excellently well. There was a project that nobody has been able to do. I did that project excellently well in 6 months, and I think that was where my trouble started, because my group head went to the management meeting to go and mention there's this guy in this unit who. So they had another unit where there was problem, and they felt that this genius boy is the solution to the problem. Honestly, that was the downturn, and my both engineering, both banking, I grew to hate it so much that I remembered I resigned without getting another job. Not too many people know that I didn't get another job, but I told all of them that I got a job somewhere. But I resigned without getting another job, and I left. So I walked into an organization, and I told them that I want to volunteer for them. It's a not-for-profit organization, because I just want to just clear my head. Like, I just want to serve people, serve the community. Let me use that one to clear my head for 2 months, and then I can then figure out what I want to do next. That clearing my head for 2 months was how I got into the not-for-profit sector that I have done for the last 9 years, and I can tell you that the growth I've had, by God's grace, the things that I've done in these years, I tell myself I should have been doing this long before. I probably would have gone. I would have been much more. The last job I had in Nigeria, I literally got a promotion every year. Literally. And this was me struggling to get a promotion then. Was I good at the IT? To be honest, I was. I felt that I was. There were things I may not have done right, but to be honest, I felt that it was divine. Now, one of the things that kept me there was the fear of, am I going to be a failure? Will it not be a failure that I left the job? I had a female friend who was going through the same pressure that I was going, and I was like, I'm a man, a woman is staying, so why should I leave? Do you understand? I was like, what will people say? In fact, I remember my sister telling me that, Kenny, this is the second time they are trying to give up in life. You cannot just give up. But my twin brother told me something, and I held on to that thing. He said, Kenny, you will live with the everyday experiences of your choices. If you stay in that bank and you run crazy, you will live with the everyday experiences. If you leave and you find yourself, you will live with the everyday experiences. And to be honest, I found myself. I can do. I need to make money, to be honest. But like what I'm doing, I can do it for free.
Wow.
Yes, I can do it for free. Honestly, just before this podcast started, somebody had sent me, my boss in Nigeria sent me a message because somebody needed someone that does what I do, and she just recommended me. It's quite a big organization, to be honest, and that's the second time she's doing that in the space of 1 month. So really, there's a lot at the other side of fear. There's a lot.
Honestly,
let me just end it there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Kenny. Honestly, because I was about asking because Muiwa had such a wonderful life. You had no problem. No, yes, you had such a wonderful life. You want to say that
there are people like that. My twin brother wanted to study the same way I was hell bent on computer engineering. He was hell bent on architecture. Today he's at the architecture is called that he's doing, and he's doing well at it. But I just have to realize that not every one of us.
Just for the sake of helping others that don't have that same opportunity. So, what strategies can help us embrace that change without fear? Because you said you just went off one day, quit your job, and left. Most people don't have that kind of.
This at all. Because I thought
yes, they don't have that.
My finances went down.
Fortitude to just do that, because nowadays everybody's looking at their bottom line, not at whatever they are thinking. Everybody's all about the money. So you can. So someone can just uppity leave the job, and when you have bills to pay, most especially in Lagos, Nigeria.
I want now.
Yes, because things are things are really, really, really different. So yes, definitely. Yeah. So I wanted to know what strategies can help us, embrace that change. What things can we do without really tanking everything, that can embrace change without fear. Buki, do you have any? I'm still going to come to me, but
I think for me, one of the things I would always champion for is the mindset that you have. You know, having a mindset where you are focused on like building your skills, even though you've not gotten that one thing that you want to do, is
mm,
very important. Because for me, as an example, over the years when I was trying to see where I would settle in my career, I kept on picking up a lot of things. I have like 12 weeks experience of French. I
Mm.
have some experiences all over my hand. I have French. I have a little bit of tech,
Python.
which I mentioned, like Python. I have just a little bit. I kept dabbling in a lot of things, which and one thing remained the same: the fact that I was open to the changes, and
mm,
also the fact that I kept on learning skills. I didn't think of, oh, these skills would not be useful for me in the future. The moment I didn't succeed at it, let me throw it away. No, no, no. I kept on using them to move to the next level,
but
because
but
each of
but
the skills.
just a quick one. But you know that
Mm,
yes, nowadays you have to be strategic about what you learn. It's not just learning everything. I didn't say maybe then it was okay, but
mm,
now you can't just start learning everything, because there are some skills that are not actually needed at all. Like
mm,
I'm big into politics now. I'm big into politics, so like I listen to a lot of podcasts about politics, most especially politics in the United States. You understand? So
Mm. Mm.
all these Trump yeah, you know. And there's this guy that talks about like this generation now that does learn a lot of unneeded things and go and work, so that they can go and work in NGOs, and they can just try to get into this slush fund of the thing. So you see a kid of 18 years old doing gender studies in United States. What does gender studies have to? What is the end goal of doing gender studies for 4 years? Where do you want to work? Who will
but you know
employ
what?
you?
You can do gender. So again, back to what I was
No,
saying,
it's just a
mindset.
question. I'm just asking. I'm not
Yeah,
really
yeah,
saying
yeah,
anything. Yeah.
absolutely. I get your question, but what I'm saying is that for me, it's the mindset. You can do
Okay.
gender study, and then you want to go into EDI, which is a branch of HR,
What's that?
Mm.
diversity,
Equality,
equality, and
diversity,
inclusion.
and
And
If
inclusion.
you
That
can see
is
inclusion.
the
diversity,
relative there.
equity, and
Yeah.
inclusion in the United States, it's not more there. They said everything else should be on merit. What
Yeah.
is
But
the yes? No, we have to be practical about these things. They've cancelled it because it causes so much division
absolutely.
and chaos,
Confusion. Yeah.
and it's like you're favoring
Mm-hmm.
one part over another part. You understand? So they said, okay, everything should go back to the
Mm.
old days of being on
Neutral.
merit. So those that did gender
Yeah.
studies are this thing now. What's their fate?
See, if it's okay to comment,
I,
I don't think that any knowledge in itself is a
it's
waste.
lost.
I don't think so.
Yep.
Let
Okay.
me give you a practical example. In my current job, I mean I work with data in my current job, and how will I put it? There's a software that we use. My IT background is the reason why I
Mm.
can use that software. The person I took over the job from does not touch that software. She uses Excel. But I have an IT background. The
Mm.
moment I ran into trouble, I troubleshooted, went through the codes to
Mm.
solve the problem, and I went on. She
Mm.
was surprised that I learnt it in 3 weeks, what she's not able to do. Do you understand? And I cannot
Yeah, yeah,
distance
yeah.
it from my IT background. One more thing. If you work with me, you will know that I laugh, I play. But when it's work,
Yeah.
I'm very serious.
So yes.
My
Mhm.
deadlines are my deadlines. I like to do quality work. If you tell me deliver something at Friday, if I cannot deliver it at Friday, there must be a reason, and I will tell you way ahead. But I realized that culture, I got it from Guarantee Trust Bank, where we don't take no for an answer.
Mm.
So people who report to me, you come and be telling me that something. No, there's a way. Do you understand? And so even though I'm working in the not-for-profit space, I'm working with the mindset of profits. I'm working with the mindset of a corporate environment. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So you are not going to tell me that it's free money. It's not free money. In fact, the fact is not for profit does not mean it is for loss. You okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's just that we're not sharing the profit, but we must make
That's all.
profits. And
There's
that's the
income and there's
mindset.
expenditure.
And I know that coming from Guarantee Trust Bank was what gave me that. I'm a not-for-profit person with a difference. I don't take. I do it like I'm in the bank. Honestly,
And even not for profit have income and expenditure account.
exactly.
So
We
they'll
just don't
have
share.
excess of
We,
income. They
yes, we
just
just don't
twist
share
it.
the profit, but you have to be
That's all.
profitable. Because you are
That's
teaching
To
people how
the
to make
income.
profit. Do you understand? So it just add up that I don't think any experience, Bukola's Python knowledge, it will show forth one day.
Yeah.
I kid you not. Like back in, I think during NYSC, one of my friends used to work for not for profit, and there was a time they needed a data entry or like a data person. I didn't have any background, but I volunteered for it, and then I picked it up, started doing Excel and everything. In my current job now, when I did my interview, I did 2 rounds of interview, and one of the rounds of interview, they wanted me to do like Excel, pivot table, mail merging, and everything. I was like, HR and this, how does it correlate? But because of the nitty gritty of the medical HR I'm doing, we had to do that, and it came in handy. But I would never have thought, because for me, I was just volunteering and just picking up something because I was free then. But eventually, it came in handy. So I feel like Kenny said, there is no knowledge lost, and when you focus on skills over like fixed roles, you'll be able to have those transferable knowledge that you can take into different roles as you evolve.
All right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Bukola. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. This question is for three of you, so that everybody will get a chance to answer. So I wanted to know if you've ever struggled with a feeling like you wasted time on a particular goal that no longer excites you, and how did you move past it? How will I put this now? I wanted to study accounting. It was my course, and I went to University of Lagos to study. But I think I got to year 3 and I was like, "What the? Oh my god!" I just lost all interest. Things that I knew personally. Like I just, it was like the lecturers were just frustrating me, and it was like the weight was just too much. And accounting that I was actually excited to study. It didn't really have any excitement. It was when I wanted to start writing ICANN that the excitement got back together, because and that there's nobody's pressuring me to be dying on this hill for one that is either my way or the highway. I know. No, it's true. Like so I think I had to come to that reality check that I just needed to get through it. This is something I wanted to study. It's not as if they gave me, like in Kenny's case, fishery and what did
Oh my.
this one, they gave me the accounting. I had the choice of I wanted to study accounting. I just love the accounting. I don't know, you understand? So I had to come up with that, how will I put it, be a man tag, and move past your problem, face your problem head on, do it. And we went through it, and here we are today. So although I'm an accountant, but I'm not a practicing accountant, because I just the trauma. Yeah. So yeah, the trauma is still with me. So, but one thing about it is that, like Kenny said, the foundation of things actually helps you to so when I wanted to move into business analysis, I think there's some foundational aspect of accounting with it, because I think it correlates. So yeah, business analysis is much more complex, because you have to do with analyzing the full business and how to make it more efficient. So yeah, definitely accountants are actually part of the business. But I struggled, and at that time when I struggled, I didn't see an end of the tunnel. I didn't see an end to the tunnel. Actually, I just felt like I think maybe I could just drop out of something. And thank God for my dad. That one would never allow it. But I'm the first one. That one is not a choice. You must finish.
Yeah.
There's no, he paid for the school fee, so you must finish. You cannot say I want to drop out. When you say, is it I say you want to go and study accounting? I said do law. You said no, it's accounting you want to do. So, Oga, finish your accounting. That's just my own. So it was like, yeah. And as the firstborn, I didn't have like, apart from my parents, I didn't have like an elder brother or sister that I could look to as an example of maybe this person that I've gone through this stuff, and how can I learn from that person and be able to apply it in my own situation so that I could move past it, put it, in a quick amount of time. So that was like a difficulty for me at that particular time. So I wanted to know, like, and Kenny, you said like you had 3 other siblings. So I'm sure you had a lot of experience that at least they could actually guide you in some way. And I just want to get your take on that question. What have you struggled with that you felt like you wasted the time and it no longer excites you? And how did you move past it? Honestly, maybe I should start with ladies first. Bukola.
Yeah.
Okay, so I think for me, having just knowing that dreams don't sometimes stay forever, like they are meant to change. Like change is very constant. So having that in mind, I just knew that things can change. So let me give an example. Before, I'd always known that I wanted to do something related to human. I wanted to do psychology at some point before I later got to human resources. But even being in human resources, there are different aspects of human resources, like almost 7 or more aspects. And having to even focus on one was a lot because you have to still learn everything and then look at what you want to focus on. So over time, before I got into my current role is specifically into medical in the health sector. But before then, I was doing another kind of HR. So pivoting into this, I'm like, have I wasted my time doing that? But also, at the back of my mind, I'm like, you know what, this is something new, this is change, welcome it, and you learn from it. So having that flexibility at the back of my mind also helped me, because the moment I was open to being flexible, it was very easy to welcome the change and learn as quick as possible, because again, the foundation was already set. So it wasn't as if I was doing something totally out of the blue. The foundation of human resources was still there, but it was just a different kind of human resources. And I think that was also the same thing, back in uni when I did chemistry and I got to year 3 of chemistry, and then I had to change back to economics, and I think I went back 1 year again. So I had to do almost 6 years in uni instead of doing like just normal 4 years. The thought of thinking like, oh, my colleagues have left me, they've gone, it was quite sad and could be depressing. But my eye was on the prize. I just knew that what, this change is for a greater good, and I kept the focus, and I kept I just kept evolving. When I needed to learn a lot of things, I'll pick up those skills, I'll learn it, hoping that one day it would come into a place where I knew it. And before I got my current role, the role I was doing was just like basic HR. By the time I got into this role, the essential criteria, the desirable criteria, I had like maybe 1 or 2 of it. Other things I didn't have, but you know what? I still went for it. And by the time I got into the role, the transferable skills I had from the previous role was what I used, and it actually helped me. Because eventually getting on the role, of course, I was trained and I became better at it. But why am I saying this? To say that the time you've invested in those other things that you are no more doing, they are not wasted. By the time you look back, you realize that you are most likely doing something connected to it, or using that foundation knowledge and building on it. Because if you have a strong foundation, of course, the building would be very strong.
Yeah.
So just having that flexibility mindset and not just beating yourself up that, oh, I've wasted time on this. I think that helped me move on faster and, get where I am today.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate it for life, honestly. We don't have a lot of time, so I still have one more question to have each and every one of you. So, who you are?
Yeah. So I think let me just put this in context. So I talked about how I had no struggles with choosing my career path and all that. But at the point where I don't know, I think it's echoing. Hope it's
What?
con-
Yeah, there's some
it's
echo.
echoing. Yeah, okay, there's some echo. So I'm just to be sure if it's
Echo of what?
the sound.
Oh, no, me.
Okay, I think it's clear.
Okay.
But still there. It's just slightly there. Let me just continue. Yeah, so I think when I finished, so I was in the commercial class and all that, good in accounting, good in commerce. But for some reason, I didn't pass WAEC, right? So when the results came out, it was a shocker to everybody. Like some of my mates till today, there's even one that comes to, comes to the church I attend here in UK. They don't believe that I failed because I was top 5 out of like 80 students. So for some reason, I failed. And it was a shocker to everybody. Like
Mm.
it was biology, one of these courses that you need as a science student. Sorry, you need to pass biology.
I don't think
Fortunately,
so. Because I also feel biology.
yeah,
I
but you
entered
need
the
to have
University of Lagos.
you need to have
Okay.
a course in maybe agri
I
or
had a
biology or
D7 in
something.
biology. That was the only course I had D7 because I just didn't like. Honestly,
You do
I
agree. I
didn't like
think it's
math.
either
That's
biology
You
or
because
that
I
agri.
D7.
Yeah,
What?
so it's one of the
It's
two.
one
You
of
don't
the
have
two
biology or
for
agri,
for
but you need a
commercial
science
students.
student.
Yeah.
I know you need a science
You need
course,
a
but I
science,
got into
science course
DE, so
rather.
it wasn't a problem for me. That's what I was gonna say.
Yeah.
Maybe
So
you
when
changed it by
it
later.
happened, yeah, of course this was years back. So
Oh, okay. You finished in 1990 what?
no, not 1990. Definitely not 1990. So,
When you
you
said this
know,
was years back.
when you said that it's different in your own time, so I was thinking that because I was thinking that you need to
No,
have
you needed.
this,
I think
this
I think
course.
you needed to have a C, but I don't also understand. I just had the D7, but it wasn't a
Exactly.
problem for me.
Yeah, yeah.
Before I didn't I never checked my NECO results until when I wanted to come to the United Kingdom. I just wanted to get all my documents.
Okay, that's why so eventually when it happened, I was like, so okay, I was like, well, let's see what Neko comes with. It was the same thing. So for example, Neko, I had a C in further math and I had a D in math. So that was when I was like, nah, something
For
is
me,
wrong.
it's not genuine. The
Something
balance
is
is what.
so it was like when you are top flight guy, and then you now see that kind of result. It's a
It's
case
an
of,
humbling experience.
like, and then that day, it was Super Story day that the result came out. The Super Story back there. And the proverb after was failure is another opportunity to start again more intelligently. So I was just
Wow.
like, do these
Uh,
guys know that I just got my results? But
But
that was a redefining moment for me
yeah.
yeah.
because it triggered a lot of things, right? I'm a person that I don't believe in regretting. Oh, if I had known. The next day I picked up and then my mom was crying, was, emotional. And then one day she was like, even the person that even had the results is not even moved. He's just acting like nothing has happened. I was like, because it's gone. I need to move on. And then back. So it was a case of, okay, what do we do? So I needed to write my exam. That was really funny because I read a book about, the power of imagination by Vincent Clear. And I realized that whatever, this is the dreams that I'm talking about, whatever you dream and focus on, set your face on, focus without any external pressure. Even if the external pressure, you are not moved. So I knew that I was nothing to make this stopping from becoming. So it helped me a lot because I understood resilience. I understood having to re-strategize and reorganize yourself, having to be able to tactfully do these things. So there was not a question of, what was the root cause? Because obviously I knew that there was something wrong, but I wasn't ready to start trying to understand how did it happen. I knew that it didn't change my mental state, it didn't change who I was, it didn't change how sound I was. So I rewrote it and I passed. And then, now to get into university, my dad had cash issues. I couldn't get into because I was supposed to get into a private university. We paid deposit, we couldn't meet up. This challenge started coming. So I was sitting at home. He didn't want me to do. So I wasn't, of course, because it was private. I didn't really send jam in then. So I was just get a good mark and that was all. So that was another issue. So eventually, I had to spend 3 years or so thereabouts. But in that space, I met a mentor who enrolled me into ICANN, started ATS to even get gotten into. So I finished my ATS before I got into Babcock eventually. So when I got into Babcock, I was already ahead. Now, a lot of these dreams about me being in front of a class, I was not even in school yet. I was targeting Covenant. I had to be Covenant University. All my mates were there. Everybody was there. I didn't enter Covenant. I entered Babcock. That's pivoting. All my mind, my dreams, everything. I was seeing the green grass when I went to the university. I was just imagining all those things. To Babcock. And myself lecturing. I was already ahead. So I started lecturing ICANN back in Babcock. I was already lecturing my classmates when the business math lecturer, they frustrated the business math lecturer. He stepped out and never came back again. And the school said they can't provide another lecturer. Wow. I lectured business math for almost a semester. Now, nobody was paying me, just voluntary, right? Now,
so who said the exam question? Was you that said the exam question?
No, the school we set this. Everybody had to figure out their way. They now eventually brought one at some point towards the end from Unilag.
Wow.
You get, and he came to do like 4 weeks before the exam. You get, so that story from that day. But all these things shaped on me for things that I was going to. So I was not. How do I put it? I understood resilience, I understood patience, I understood focus, I understood don't be moved by whatever situation. Don't let any situation that you're currently facing change the dreams that you have. You understand? So the external pressure was there, but I just had that sense of don't let the dream die. You understand? Just keep at it. Because it was a lot. When your mates are ready, they're ready in school, 2 years ahead, 3 years ahead. When I got to Babcock, my mates were already in 400 level. Wow. You understand? But we're all here today, successful and decent, and it's a case of this guy, just, because some were telling me someone saying you would have been depressed, you would have been all that.
Yeah. Then, obviously, but, I think I have the same story as you.
Yeah.
But I think the one year I stayed at home was to brush up on my mathematics, because I know that I was bad at math. I won't pass that one. It's the grace of God.
Yeah.
But I did that 1 year. What I did was like enroll for this extra mathematics lesson, because as an accountant, if I wanted to do accounting in the University of Lagos, I needed to be up there. So and I thank God, all my statistics, everything that I did for 4 years were all at least it's B. I didn't get E. But that I understand. Honestly, it's not easy. But thank God you're on the other side of it. So I think the last one we have to go to Kenny, because I don't want to keep you guys waiting. So
let me take it from
round up for us, then I'll just give the closing monologue and that's it.
Okay, let me take it from what Muyiwa said. He said something about staying focused and not letting the dream change, and that really struck me, because see, maybe the question is, how right is that dream in the first place? Do you understand? How right is that dream in the first place? Do you understand? Because there is something that will fuel that dream. Now, you might dream it in a way, like you might dream of coming to the UK, for example. To be honest, it's not like coming to the UK is what you want. What you want is a system that works.
Yeah.
And if the UK does not work, it is possible that a door opens somewhere else in another country where the system works, because your dream in the first place is to be somewhere there. Do you understand? Where, for example, I look at myself wanting to study computer engineering and all of that. I'm very creative. I like to see things work. I like to see things processed and see things work that way. Do you understand? And I felt that was where the desire to study computer engineering came from. So the moment I found another expression, do you understand, to still build things out, because the big deal about not-for-profit for me is that we can make things work. Do you understand? And so I found another way to express that dream. Do you understand? So even though the dream is, I may have thought that the dream was to study computer engineering, but whereas the dream is to build a system that works for people, a system that makes people be able to deliver and work effectively. Do you understand? So the expression may have changed, but the dream in itself is still there. So if I had hinged on the fact that my dream is to be computer engineering, I might lose out. But what I am doing, I am still playing out that dream. You want to study medicine because there's that dream to just help people, to save people. Do you understand? And then an opportunity opens up for you to study economics or accounting, for example, and then you get the opportunity to be at a policy level where you are making policies that is changing the lives of people. Your dream is to save and help people. You may have thought that medicine was the way to express that, but an opportunity opened up through accounting or economics to work at that level that your decision is affecting people and saving lives. So really, I think that is where I would like to round up, to say that we just need to sometimes reshape and cross correct what that dream is and find out what is the real intent of it, because sometimes some of these things is just a means of expression of what the real dream is. Let me give you a final example. I used to be, if those who knew me in university then, they call me Cameo, because I say Cameo. I call this Kenny Akemi Aponjo Music International. Because experience in Nigeria. That exact concept, I had it before experience started. That exact concept. And I would think of the money that comes from there. I'm opening foundation. I have a village where motherless children are there. I have somewhere where if you don't have a job, you come there. We would support you for 1 year. Then once you get into a job, you pay us back. I had all of those dreams, and I looked at that last month, that where did all these things go? But I asked myself, all of those things, it doesn't mean that they would not still happen. They may not happen in that way. But what was fueling at the ground of it was, I want people to be able to have better experiences in life. And so even though that is not happening in itself, I am working in a sector that allows me to be able to support people to have better experiences in life. So someday, somehow, that dream is living, but that children's home may not, it may and it may not be open. Do you understand?
Thank you so much, Kenny. You make me saying, bro, I forgot. Thank you. I don't want to keep you guys for 1 hour, honestly. But this was some real deep stuff, and I really appreciate each and every one of you. Honestly, I really do. You guys took time out of your busy schedules to come here. Bukola had anything that she had to cancel, and I'm really appreciative that you are here. Honestly, it's really, really amazing that a lot of experiences have been shared today, and this was the goal of this podcast, that people can come up here and give their personal experiences about topics that can be of help to people coming behind us, And as we wrap this episode up today, I just want to leave with you this thought. Our dreams are not meant to be static; they are living, breathing out who we are, and constantly evolving as we learn, we grow, and we experience life. If your goals have shifted, you don't have to see it as a setback. You see it as a sign that you are paying attention to who you are becoming.
Yes.
Bukola said something. She tried and tried and tried. But she's here because she knew who she was becoming. The dreams that once defined you were never wasted.
Yeah.
Those the stepping stones to leading you to who you are meant to be.
Mhm.
You know, I dreamt I wanted to go to Funab. I didn't end up to Funab. I'm a graduate of University of Lagos.
We are
I
we are
always
we are men of
challenge our
like passion.
listeners. I
Well,
want
it's
to challenge
actually
our
true.
listeners today to just take a moment to reflect. What dreams
Yeah.
have shaped your journey so far as a teenager, as a youth, and how you can embrace the changes that lie ahead. Most people
Yeah.
they are not embracing the changes, and especially in this day and age, we have to be very, very conversant with that. I want to thank you guys for tuning in to, this podcast, Keep Life Talk for. Honestly, it's been a wonderful day with you guys. Thank you so much. I wanted to just, click the like button, share, engage, subscribe. I need subscriptions, honestly. We need
You'll get there. You'll get there. Don't worry.
we need subscriptions so that we
Stay
can
on
keep the
your
conversation
dreams. You
going.
will get it.
We
Yeah.
can keep the
Yeah,
yes.
Focus.
I mean, so until next time, keep evolving, keep dreaming, and most importantly, keep growing. Thank you so much. Bye. Until next week.